How's it going, everybody? I hope everybody's enjoying their holidays. Now is a real special time that Christians can be a bright light in a dark world. That our joy that we walk with, knowing that Christ has received us and sealed us until the day of redemption. We look forward to meeting Him and seeing Him in heaven because we know that the gifts that He's given us await us, and that we are set in love with Him, and we walk with Christ. So as we go throughout the world, and especially in this time, I think God opens all the ears of people so they can receive and see just the light that Christians carry in this world and the brightness about us. And so I think during this season, the reason of the season for us that we celebrate is Christ's birth, right? Coming into the world and redeeming mankind. So now is an amazing time during these holiday seasons to share the gospel and get the good news out about Christ and what He did for all of mankind. So I wanted to read a little bit from Second Ezra about the trials and tribulations that we're here set forth to face during our lifetime, that all people should have to go through. We'll read a little bit about the prodigal son and just finish it up with the gospel. It says, and then when I made an end of speaking these words, there was sent unto me an angel which had been sent unto me nights before, and he said unto me, Up, Esdras, and hear the words that I am come to tell thee. And I said, Speak on, my Lord. Then he said unto me, There is a sea set in a wide place, that it might be broad and vast, but the entrance thereof shall be set in a narrow place, so as to be like a river. And whoso then shall desire to go into the sea to look upon it or to rule it, if he had went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? Another thing also, there is a city builded and set in a plain country, and full of good things. But the entrance thereof is narrow, and set in a dangerous place to fall, having fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water. And there is only a path between them both, even between fire and water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. And if this city now be given unto the man for an inheritance, if the hare pass not the danger set before him, how shall he receive his inheritance? And I said, It is so, Lord. Then he said unto me, Even so is Israel's portion, because for their sakes I have made the world. And when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done. Then were the entrances of this world made narrow and sorrowful and toilsome. They are but few and evil, full of perils, and charged with great toils. For the entrances of the greater world are wide and sure, and bring forth fruit and immortality, so everlasting life, right? It says, Then if they that live enter not these straight and vain things, they can never receive those that are laid up for them. Now therefore, why disquietest thou thyself, seeing that thou art but a corruptible man? And why art thou moved, whereas thou art but mortal? And why hast thou not considered in thy mind that which is to come, but rather that which is present? Then answered I and said, O Lord, that bearest rule, lo, thou hast ordained in thy law that the righteous should inherit these, but that the ungodly should perish. And the righteous therefore shall suffer straight things and hope for the wide. But they that have done wickedly shall suffer the straight things, and yet shall not see the wide. And he said unto me, Thou art not a judge above God, neither hast thou understanding above the Most High. So that's part that I wanted to read from Second Ezra. It's saying that there's trials and perils and great toils that we go through, but if God was to just give us the inheritance right off the bat, He knows that we would spoil it, And so that's why I want to go and read from this next part, and I believe it's in Mark 15. And it's likewise I say unto you, There is joy in the presence of angels of God for one sinner that converteth. He saith moreover, a certain man hath 2 sons, and the younger of them saith to his father, Father, give me my portion, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And so he divided unto them his substance. So not many days after, when the younger son had gathered all together, he took his journey into a far country, and now there he wasted his goods with riotous living. Now when he had spent all, and there arose a great dearth throughout the land, and there had begun to be a necessity, that when he hath clave to a citizen of that country, and he hath sent him to his farm to feed swine, and he would have fainted, having filled his belly with husks that the swine ate, but no man giveth them him. Then he came to himself and said, how many hired servants at my father's house have bread enough, and I die for hunger. I will rise and go to my father, and saith unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and I am no more worthy to be called thy son. Make me as one of thy hired servants. So he arose and came to his father, and when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son saith unto his father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and I am no more worthy to be called thy son. Then the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe, and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet, and bring a fat calf, and kill him, and let us eat and be merry. For this my son was dead, and is alive again, and he was lost, but he is found. And they began to be merry. Now the elder brother was in the field, and when he came and drew near to the house, he heard melody and dancing. And one of his servants, called one of his servants and asked what those things meant. And he saith unto him, Thy brother is come, and thy father has killed a fattened calf, because he hath received him safe and sound. And the brother got jealous, right? And then he was angry, and it would not go in. Therefore came his father out and entreated him, but he answered and said unto his father, Lo, these many years I have done thee service, neither break I at any time thy commandment. And yet thou hast never given me it says kitty, but like a goat or a meal, that I might make merry with my friends. But when this thy son was come, which has devoured thy good with harlots, he had laid with women and done lustful things. It says, Thou hast for his sake killed the fat calf, and said unto him, Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. It was meet that we should make merry and be glad. For this thy brother was dead and is alive again, and he was lost, but he is found. So it's the same way when it's just a parable about the things that we're going to suffer in this life, and especially if we get our inheritance early, how we're going to ruin it. This parable also shows the mercy of God, because the father that just receives the son is just like how Jesus receives us when we turn back and repent. He just fills us with love, and he brings us in, and he welcomes us back, knowing that we were lost and in need of him, and he can comfort us and give us all things that we need. So many of us are at some point in our lives lost son, and so that's kind of the trials that we got to go through. We got to learn how to live and learn how to lean on our Father in heaven. We can't do it without him. And also the sins and everything that he was entangled with in that story was the demise of his life. They were running him into hunger and famine, and he had nothing, because that's what the devil will do. He'll offer you everything in the world that'll make you feel great, but at the end of the day, you'll be left wanting and have nothing. But I wanted to read kind of basically part of the gospel, and this is actually in Romans. Wherefore, as by one man sins entered into the world, and death by sin, and so death went over all men, and who all men have sinned. For unto the time of the law was sin in the world, but sin was not imputed, while there is no law. But death reigned from Adam to Moses, even over them also that sinned, not like the manner of that transgression of Adam, but was a figure of him that was to come. But yet the gift is not so as is the offense. For if through the offense of that one many be dead, much more the grace of God and the gift by grace, which is by one man, Jesus Christ, hath abounded unto many. Neither is the gift so as that which entered in by one that sinned. For the fault came of one offense unto condemnation, but the gift is of many offenses to justification. And if by the offense of one death reigned through one, much more shall they that receive the abundance of grace and that of the gift of righteousness reigneth in life through one, that is Jesus Christ. Likewise, then, as by the offense of one the fault came in on all men to condemnation, so by the justifying of one the benefit abound towards all men to the justification of life. For as by one man's disobedience were many made sinners, so that by obedience of that one shall many also be made righteous. So, that's the wonderful part about being a Christian. We are justified by Jesus Christ, and therefore there is no more condemnation against a Christian. The sins that we have, if we put all our trust and faith in Jesus Christ and we repent, we are now blameless, spotless before God. And through his grace, he purifies us. And so that's the gift, and that gift also, we receive in that gift purification of sins. We also receive everlasting life if we pick up our cross and follow him. So it's beautiful. It's a free gift, and it's, like I said, it's not based on works, that we have to, this week we feel real good, we're not sinning, and next week we kind of fall short and we condemn ourselves and we bash ourselves. It's not like that. With Christ, you are forgiven, you are born again, you are a new Christian. And so you don't have to put that guilt on yourself, because you're putting your faith on the works that Christ did. The only works that you have to do is believing in him. After that work of believing in him that did the work, there's no more works for you to do. It's just by having faith. And, Jesus Christ spoke specifically about joining in baptism. Let a man be thoroughly be born again. So in entering in baptism with him, you're joining in with his death, burial, and resurrection. And when he rose again, he defeated death and has the keys to hell and Hades. And so he has the ability to offer everlasting life through his atoning sacrifice and defeating evil and defeating death. So joining him in baptism, you can come out of the water as a new man, a new creation, a new spirit, and you can put off the carnal thoughts of man, which is pride and lust and just things of this world. If you die to yourself and die to just, satisfying your body and satisfying your flesh and satisfying all the thoughts, things that the world does, and you worship God in spirit, the gifts of the Spirit are, love, charity, peace, and a sound mind, and worshiping God in prayer and in spirit, and thinking in spiritual terms about things. It's just a whole 180, repenting from your carnal mind and turning to the spiritual. That's how we worship our Father, right? So it's a beautiful thing. So, that's the gospel. That's the good news, is we can put all our faith in Jesus Christ, that had for one time made the sacrifice for all sins to be cleansed. So if we just lean on him and put our faith and trust in him, he'll redeem us and he'll save us. So we just got to pick up our cross and follow him. And it's a beautiful thing. So that's what I'm going to cover today. Try to make it a little shorter than my normal videos, and hopefully I'll post a little bit more often to get the good word out and the good news out. Thank y'all. Stay blessed. Have a good rest of y'all's year till the new year comes, and then we'll see what 2025 brings. But I definitely see the Lord doing a marvelous work in the land. There's a lot of open ears right now for hearing the gospel, and so it's a really beautiful thing. You know, God's getting his word out and he's pouring his spirit out on all men right now. And there's some crazy things going on in the earth. It's really ramping up out here. So y'all stay safe and take care of yourselves. Love all y'all.